Well, joining me now is our Environment Editor Valérie Dekimpe. Valérie, it's been a month since Liz Truss became Prime Minister, and many are questioning her climate policy already. Not just activists and campaigners, but also people within her own party. Tell us a bit about what's going on.
Right, so questions are being raised over her climate policies and also whether there will be a continuation of climate plans put in place by the Conservative government back in 2019 after the general election. It's all been building up over the last few weeks, and the latest move that has angered many people is the government's resistance to funding an energy-saving campaign this winter to reduce demand amid soaring prices. And reportedly, Liz Truss, she ignored her own government climate advisors in putting in place this energy saving plan. And perhaps what's really raising concerns, I would say, among climate activists is her decision to end a moratorium on fracking. So fracking is a highly controversial technique for recovering oil and gas from the soil, the earth, and it was banned back in 2019 after opponents fiercely went against this fracking technique as it's very controversial. But we know that the UK has also opened up several licensing rounds for new oil and gas projects in the North Sea. As many as 100 licenses could be opened in the North Sea. So you can see several moves there in favor of fossil fuels. And Truss, on the other hand, she has defended her decision, saying that her absolute priority was actually energy supply and strengthening energy supply. Environmentalists, on the other hand, they have slammed that decision, some even infiltrating Truss's speech last week to the Conservatives and holding banners saying who voted for this and asking Truss who actually voted for fracking. They were removed from the venue, obviously, but they spoke to the press after that happened. And let's take a listen to what they had to say.
This year we really felt we needed to make an intervention because nobody actually voted for a lot of what Liz Truss and her government are trying to do at the moment. Nobody voted for fracking, nobody voted to cut benefits, nobody voted to trash nature. There's a whole host of things that the Conservative government were elected to do in 2019 that they're simply not doing.
Now, Liz Truss, who happens to be a former Shell executive, has accused critics and environmentalists of being anti-growth, actually.
Now, is there a real risk, in your view, Valérie, that the UK could actually backtrack on those climate commitments, especially ahead of the UN Climate Summit, which will take place next month?
Well, if you take fracking, for example, we know that it's highly controversial, that it's also highly polluting, but fracking never actually took off in the first place in the UK because the UK doesn't have the right type of soil and it makes it a lot more expensive to do. So we should not be expecting a flurry of investments, of fracking investments in the coming months or years. But what this move does say, in my opinion, is the government is not intent on moving away from fossil fuels as it should be doing now in order to keep in line with its climate commitments. The UK actually has one of the most ambitious climate goals among industrialized nations, so reducing CO2 emissions by almost 80% by 2035 and then by 100%, so becoming carbon neutral by the middle of the century. These targets, however, they were enshrined into law, so the UK government is legally obliged to actually keep those targets in check. But nobody really knows if or when leaders will be held accountable if they don't meet those targets. What is interesting, though, is that the Egyptian government, the hosts of COP27 this year, they have warned the UK against backtracking on their climate commitments, and this is a highly unusual move. We don't necessarily see before a summit takes place the Egyptian presidency coming out and then saying to the UK, hold on, watch out, you need to keep your climate commitments. And For now, it is unclear if Liz Truss will actually go to Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt for COP27. And perhaps another powerful symbol, I would say, of the UK potentially disengaging from climate diplomacy is the fact that King Charles, who has long been an advocate of climate diplomacy and the environment in general, who has attended most UN climate summits in the past, he will not be attending, reportedly because he has followed instructions coming from Downing Street. And interestingly, Alok Sharma, who presided, a cabinet member who presided over COP26 last year, and also the climate minister, UK climate minister, both of them breaking ranks and asking again for King Charles to attend COP27. So all of this combined, I would say it's what's raising concerns that the UK could possibly be sliding backwards in terms of climate commitments.
All right, well, we'll see what happens in November. Valérie Dekimpe, our Environment Editor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.